the ASEA Redox Medical Professionals event. My name is Aviva Goreshnik, and I am a redox expert. I hold a background in education and human resources, but my true passion lies in health, wellness, and leadership development. I'm a double diamond executive with ASEA, and I lead a global network of thousands of associates who are committed to changing lives one cell at a time through the power of redox signaling technology. I was raised by parents who were first medical doctors and later naturopathic doctors, so wellness has been a part of my life since day one. Today, I'm grateful to mentor others, answer questions, and help people understand how redox signaling molecules can support the body no matter what their health story looks like. I'm based in Canada, but my team spans 4 continents. And whether I'm supporting a brand new associate or strategizing with seasoned leaders, my mission is always the same: to empower people with the knowledge, tools, and support they need to thrive physically, personally, and professionally. I'm really glad to be here with you today, and I look forward to supporting your journey however I can. We have with us today Shoshana Chain. She is a Canadian health practitioner and wellness expert with over 20 years of experience in the health industry. She specializes in supporting health practitioners and clinics and seamlessly incorporating ASEA's redox technology into their practices to maximize client outcomes. Shoshana is also passionate about helping individuals restore and optimize their health at a cellular level. She co-hosted a well-respected health podcast for over a decade and is a #1 best-selling author. Her work bridges the gap between cutting-edge science and real-world application, empowering both professionals and everyday people to activate the body's natural ability to heal and to thrive. She is here today with us to provide you with a brief overview of ASEA's health breakthrough technology, and then we're going to open it up for discussion. So please enjoy this presentation.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Aviva. I'm very excited to be sharing this information with everybody here today. Like Aviva said, we are going to be talking about ASEA for health and medical practitioners. And while I'm just getting started, I would love for you to tell us what you do in the comments. So are you a nutritionist? Are you an MD? Where do you specialize? Are you a massage therapist? Where do you specialize? It would be really great to know a little bit more about you. So we will be able to talk about that and see where we can help along the way. So Aviva introduced me so wonderfully, but what I wanted to tell you a little bit more about is my journey through health and wellness in terms of the companies that I've run over the last 25 years. I became a personal trainer quite a long time ago after already having some other health companies. And after starting ASEA, actually, when I was very sick from hormone dysfunction and not able to get out of bed, sleeping 16 hours a day, very soon after, within just about 4 months, I ended up working out and being in almost the greatest shape of my life, definitely postpartum greatest shape of my life. And there I am in the top left corner. And at that time, my husband had recently had a health scare, and that really got us down the path of natural healing and taking our own health into our own hands, like a lot of your clients and patients have done at this point, and how a lot of you have done for yourself. We started a podcast and very quickly got invited to speak on stages across North America, and people wanted our help. And I became a nutritionist. And in doing so, I was helping people get the most amazing results. I was training with my husband in triathlon. He's a 2 or 3 time Ironman. I can't even keep track anymore. A lot of other triathlons under his belt. And this was our life, and it was going great. And I had walked away from a 6-figure job to become a nutritionist. The problem there is that although I was spending amazing minutes with amazing people, getting them the most amazing results, my reach wasn't big enough. And when my reach wasn't big enough, my company actually was failing. I was spending more in a year than I was earning, and that was a really big problem for me. Soon after that, I ended up with my own health problem that I had mentioned. And when Aviva introduced ASEA to me, my health took off, and very quickly learned that the results that I was getting people as a nutritionist could come faster, could be more impactful when they included redox signaling into their lifestyle, right? And soon after doing that, I started to get people at, once again, the most amazing results. And a lot of them didn't have to change other things that they were doing, but they were already doing all the things. They were seeing the chiropractor, the holistic nutritionist. They were seeing osteopaths and physiotherapists, but all of a sudden they started to get results a lot quickly too. Here I am speaking to over 2,500 people at an ASEA conference. I'm enjoying an amazing life with my children now, and here's an example of some of the most amazing athletes I've been able to meet and rub shoulders with over the years, like Bria Larson. She's a gold medalist swimmer from the United States. Dexter Yeats, who gets still comes in first place in her category, racing Ironman well into her 70s. And the list goes on and on, but I won't keep you here forever. I just want to quickly go over what is redox signaling, because some of you might know exactly what it is. Some of you might not realize what it is until I start explaining. But let's just start with the cell. Our cells are round little sacks of salt water. We know that, and that there's other things happening inside there. Our mitochondria, our powerhouse of the cell, is making ATP. It's making energy. They used to think that redox signaling molecules were a waste product of creating this ATP. But what they came to learn is how important redox signaling molecules were for the communication within the cell and for the mitochondria to work at its best, but also the communication throughout the body. And what we know is that the mitochondria starts to slow down every year or every decade. We're losing about 10% of its ability. If we have more of a unhealthy lifestyle, or if we're exposed to more toxicity or extra stress in our lives, we know that we could be on the heavier end of that as opposed to the lighter end of that. And while we can use a lot of different therapies, while we could use a lot of different nutrients to get our mitochondria to work to its fullest potential, it has still shrunken that potential 10% every 10 years. And so that means that the body is not working as productively as it can. So these redox signaling molecules, these tiny high energy communication molecules made at the center of our cells, do not have enough power to detect, repair, and replace all the damaged cells in the body, because we are overexposed to way too much toxicity in life, from sprays on our food and mold in the wall, and just living a very fast lifestyle and having radiation in our pocket all day long. These molecules are also responsible for keeping our immune system balanced, our cardiovascular system, our hormonal system, digestion, inflammatory response. It's responsible for helping with brain health, our body's ability to create new tissues, cartilage, collagen, help with reproduction organs, repair DNA, aid with stem cell health. It's not that we need necessarily extra stem cells in our body. We need those to work at our fullest potential. Redox signaling molecules create energy, fight free radicals, attack bacteria, viruses, antigens that shouldn't be there, bring balance to the body, control the on-off switches that are affected by our genetic pathways. And when something is wrong, the body sends off signals. Hey, come and fix me. And there's so much more there. If you've heard of redox signaling molecules, you might know that before 1998, there really weren't a lot of studies. There really wasn't a lot of research done. There was a Nobel Prize given in 1998 to 3 Italian scientists, because they finally understood how important these redox molecules are, based on what I just told you. And now there's over 12,000 books on redox biochemistry, over 42,000 published peer-reviewed scientific articles in journals, and we're hearing about it more and more across the world. And if you haven't heard of it yet, trust me, it's going to come across your desk any day now. Again, what's so unique about it is while you might be using a lot of great things like vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, juices, essential oils, CBD oils, and they might be helping your people get results, sometimes those come along with toxicity. Sometimes we need to use extra energy in our body to break it down and utilize it. And sometimes it's just not enough. That's helping our bodies get the fullest potential that it is at this stage in our life, right? Because we're producing 10% less of our mitochondria ability of our redox signaling molecules. But now all of a sudden, that potential shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. But redox impacts your health, not just to the ability of where you're at in your age, but it gives your cell that life back. It refills your cell, makes it nice and round again so that they're not smushing up against each other, allowing rogue cells to exist, or creating an impact that creates major discomfort throughout the body. All of a sudden there's flow and the body is able to heal on a much higher level. Not until 20 years ago and 15 years ago came out on the market was the ability to actually replenish your cells, actually take a supplement for your actual intracellular fluid, for your body's ability to refill those cells and actually communicate. And ASEA Redox is leading the way with that. There are universities and there are biotech companies all across the world that recreate these redox molecules, right? Water and salt, just like inside of our cells, and that gets recreated into redox molecules. But ASEA is the only one who has been able to stabilize it. So it can be shipped and delivered to someone's home, have a shelf life of over a year, and be taken orally, be placed topically as well to help anywhere within the body, but also target specific areas within the body. And this has been done with over 20 years of research, 7 international patents. There's over 1,000 proprietary processing secrets. And that is why ASEA Redox is ahead of the game, because every other biotech company, university making these redox molecules, it will churn back into salt water within about 10 minutes of being exposed from outside of the machines that it's been making from. So anybody who needs to take it needs to be close by, needs to go take it multiple times a day for any research that's being done. So here we have a picture of our ASEA Redox, our ASEA Redox supplement, as we call it, ARS. We have our Renew 28 gel that's identical to what's inside that blue bottle. And then we have our Redox Gold, and Redox Gold affects the NFR2 pathways, affecting the body's ability to create glutathione. And I'll get to that a little bit later on. So some of you might completely understand the process of how salt water can be turned into our own intracellular fluid, allowing the body to heal. And some of you might need a little bit more information. So while I'm not getting too in depth today, what I can tell you is that there are multiple third-party testers that have proven that there are redox signaling molecules inside here when they take pristine salt water, the same that's found inside your cell, and they break it down and restructure the atoms, different than restructured water. They're actually able to create these redox signaling molecules. There are multiple companies, like I said, that do that third-party testing. And then some people say, well, if it's salt water, what about the salt content? The salt content is very low. And when it's processed through to create these redox molecules, it's actually changed as well. And when we take it in, it's not processed in the body the same way table salt would be, or the same way that Himalayan salt would be, or even and any other kind of great salt that you might be using right now. It doesn't work the same in the body. And people who have conditions that we are told they should not be taken and any more salt in their body, we actually see those issues correcting themselves. So in each minimal dose, so if we're taking 4 ounces twice a day, we would have less salt than 3 big carrots or a slice of bread. So it's really not that bad. So again, these molecules inside the bottle are tiny, high energy signaling molecules. They pass through the cell membrane and they absorb directly in. They turn on the signaling within the cell, and then those cells turn on the cells around them, and that cascades through the whole body, allowing the body to bring the proper healing to the proper place. And this contributes to our resilience to stress and overall wellness. There was a study done in 2017. It was an 8-week study. And what they did is they had one group take the salt water before it was made into the redox molecules. The other group took the redox signaling molecules. And then, of course, there was a control group. And they were looking for changes in genetic pathways in all 5 of these areas. Just raise your hand if you have clients or patients who are dealing with hormone issues. Put your hand back up if they have immune system issues or inflammatory issues or cardiovascular issues or digestion issues. What if they have a combination of all of those, right? So what we found is that every single one of these 5 groups were positively impacted in all 5 of these areas from 21 to 31%. Every single area. But the group that was the salt water before it turned into ASEA redox, there was no change whatsoever. So we did see huge changes within the body. There are different ways to create protocols for people that have different issues. So somebody who has a thyroid issue versus somebody who has an adrenal issue, right? Or a blood sugar issue, 3 different types of hormones. There are different protocols for them. And that's what we really do. We work with you to quickly create that protocol for you so that you're not busy researching, figuring out what to do, because we already know what to do. So here we have Anna, and Anna had a thyroid issue, and she started to see that her thyroid was improving. The way she was able to see that is because she was on a medication, and she started to get the opposite side effects of what she should have had from her health issue, therefore bringing her to her medical practitioner, taking a blood test, and being told, yes, it is safe for you to go down on your medication. We see people can get results, and that was that was over some time. But what we see with people with blood sugar issues is they can tell right there on their monitor that all of a sudden their cells are cleaner. They're using up that blood. They're eating up that blood sugar so that it's not sitting there. Their pancreas is working better to be able to help them do that. And they're able to see that right away in real time. Mariana is one of our health experts who sit with us, who help make protocols, who, although you might not even know her, would be involved in helping you. She had an autoimmune gut issue that left her looking for the next washroom at every red light, not sure where to turn. Years and years of dealing with this issue, having small kids and having to take medications that were creating major discomfort throughout her body for that gut issues. Her digestion is amazing today. The ASEA redox made a huge impact in her life. We have Nanette in the top right corner. And Nanette's story is a little bit interesting because I was supporting another health practitioner in her business to help her clients with the ASEA redox, and she had reached out to another health practitioner, so I was helping him as well. And in doing so, one of his patients brought Nanette to him, and that's how she found out about the ASEA redox at a time where she had malignant cells, different types of malignant cells in each breast. And within 3 months of starting the ASEA redox, her doctors told her that there was no more malignancy and that her masses were shrinking. So it was extremely important for her to get that message. And what was great is that the practitioners who were working with her didn't need to work with her in terms of the ASEA redox. They referred her to me. I was able to support them, and she was able to get all the support that she wanted. Lynette, just below her with her husband down there as well, was told by another nutritionist who I was working with, and she needed to lift her leg to get into the car every day because her hip issues, and she watched that melt away as well. This man at the bottom, I always find really interesting because he's a health practitioner himself. And sometimes health practitioners, need a little bit of help themselves. He's an ER doctor. He had bad exercise. He didn't have a good sleep schedule, and he wanted to try the ASEA redox for himself and see what numbers would show for him, because as you could see, if you're reading ahead, his cholesterol, his triglycerides were not good at all. His total cholesterol over 4 months went from 182 to 121. His HDL went from 41 to 44, triglycerides 281 to 78, LDL 101 to 61. And after taking the supplements for 3 weeks, he said that his joints were more flexible, he felt more alert, and he would have been completely amazed for anybody to get these results if they were taking a statin. What does that say? When we give the body the power to correct itself, it is so much more powerful and is sustainable and healthier for the body, because statins, as we know, come with their own issues down the road. There's been other studies that have been done that are actual studies, not just people testing their own results, as well, as you can see over here on the right-hand side. I'm a little bit partial to the Athletic Advantage. Dr. Neiman from the North Carolina Institute, he did a lot of research with ASEA, and it all started with a 7-day study with mice that drank the ASEA redox. They ran 29% further to exhaustion, and they were actually utilizing more fat as fuel. So if we've got people who work out here, if we've got our personal trainers, our physiotherapists in the house, imagine creating a shift in 43 metabolites, right? Being able to increase the vitamin C levels during exercise, storing energy, storing nutrients, increasing your VO2 max 12%, burning ATP 6 to 8% faster, having less lactic acid buildup, and knowing that this is a product with zero toxicity. Your body is not utilizing any of this and putting any of it out for waste and using its own energy to take it. And it is WADA certified, which means it passes the World Anti-Doping Agency. It is not a banned substance, and it has the Olympic stamp of approval, which was actually one of the number one reasons that got me to trust it in the first place, because that was really impressive to me. So through some of these other studies that they did, they started to see how the EGR1 was affected, and all these different pathways, right? Serotonin receptor, ovarian fertility, human thyroid, spinal cord, insulin signaling, so many different pathways being affected here. But the one that really caught the researchers' attention and the university's attention was the NFR2. NFR2, of course, is critical for the protection of glutathione, our body's master antioxidant. And what we saw is when people were taking ASEA, they were actually able to utilize the antioxidants 800% more, lowering oxidized LDL and lowering oxidized DNA, fixing our cells, allowing the body to fix itself, as opposed to using an ingredient to just get to the fullest potential of where we're at now. We were able to increase that potential back. And what was really interesting is the most amazing practitioners doing all the best kind of therapies and, helping with nutrition and exercise and all of that, they started to see that their people were getting results even faster and to a higher level, especially with people with issues in this area. Of course, we talked about athletics before, but people with low glutathione levels, these are the issues that start to come out for people. So if we could not just treat symptoms, but we could actually empower the body to take back health, look at all the different things that can increase because of the body's potential. And again, there are different protocols for these, and we're just a phone call away, which is really great because we spent all these years creating the very best protocols so that you could easily integrate this into your clinics, into your work that you do, in a way that doesn't mean that you're out researching and studying all the time. You've got us on your speed dial. Different scientific institutions and universities wanted to start partnering with ASEA from all over the world, as you can see, and they decided to work with the University of Bath in the UK and Western Sydney University in Australia. And what they did is in Bath, they used the Renew 28 gel in the white tube I showed you, and the ARS, the redox signaling, was used in Australia. And they saw a massive increase in the glutathione production in healthy cells. And what they saw is when they gave those cells blockers, they saw, instead of a 40% increase, they saw 60% increase of the body's ability to create its own glutathione directly in the nucleus. That means that's not just extra glutathione rushing around the body without a place to go. It's targeted, and their body will only create it up to, which means that it will never overcreate what isn't needed. So let's talk a little bit more about that Renew 28. We said that the bottle only had 2 ingredients. Well, the Renew 28 only has 4. It's got a clay and a stabilizer in there, preservative-free, hypoallergenic, doesn't clog pores. It's paraben-free. It was originally marketed for beauty, but what we saw very quickly is, just like the bottle, if we apply it on our thyroid, we start to see that the body can start to stabilize the thyroid. If we apply it over a lump that's growing in the body that shouldn't be there, the body is empowered to start breaking it down. And we're then able to replace so many different, I want to call them products, garbage that we're buying in stores that we know come with a lot of toxicity, that come with a lot of side effects. We're able to use this to replace them, which means that although our patient or client might be buying something extra that they don't normally buy, they can stop buying all these other things and actually save them a lot of money down the road and be very happy with the results, come back to you for more, and and they will send you their referrals, their friends and family as well. What they saw over time is placing the Renew 28 3 times in 5 minutes really did help with severe discomfort in the body. And we were using that for muscle issues, joint issues, all kinds of issues for a very long time. And then there were some people who weren't getting quite enough results, and they decided to go down that path of the NFR2 and see how they can push it even further to help the body even more. And that's when they came out with Redox Gold. It contains redox signaling molecules infused with molecular gold to target specific cellular communication and pathways that lead to enhanced recovery and relief. So as you can see, healthy cells can increase the glutathione levels up to 70%, and in the compromised cells, 280%. Meaning that there is a significant cooling, significant change in the body. But not only that, it's not only taking away that discomfort or extreme issues that they're dealing with, but it's actually creating recovery at the same time. They did some thermographic imaging, as you could see on that top row, the red and the pink. A lot of you probably use thermographic imaging in your practices. That is fire. That is pain. That's discomfort. And then they put on the Redox Gold, came back 15 minutes later when it was completely dry, and you see how cool those blues and greens are and how those blues and greens have taken over the body. That is showing us right there how that's working. But not only that, anecdotally, all of the test subjects started to talk about, some in 4 minutes, some in 15 minutes, how much their body had changed, how their range of motion had changed, how their discomfort had gone away, how their control of their body had increased. Those are things that can work within minutes, as I mentioned, but when we do drink the ASEA Redox, we do have to have some proper expectations. We know about apoptosis. The body's getting rid of our damaged cells and reproducing the best cells. So we're making those best cells even better with the Redox, and we are speeding up the process of having better cells. However, some people see significant change within 7 to 14 days, and that's about 10% of people. 50% of people see a change within 30 to 60 days, and 90% of people see a significant change within 90 to 120 days. However, when you work with us and we give you the proper protocol, and your client or patient is going to use that proper protocol, we are more likely to be in that 30-day, 7 to 30-day range, as opposed to that 90-day range with people sleeping better, having more energy, and just really getting much better results over time. And these are not things that you need to memorize. We have photos, we have little videos. We set you up in a little in a little file where you have access at your fingertip to these little tools all day long. In fact, somebody on this call messaged me today and said, I'm on my work phone instead of my private phone today. Shoshana, where's that video that you have about those rogue cells? And I was able to get it off to her in 2 minutes while out for lunch today with my mom. So it was really simple for me to be able to support her in that moment. And because we work together and because I'm able to support her and help her clients and her patients, it's win-win for them, win-win for her and her business, as well as me just feeling amazing about the work that I'm able to do out there in the world. Those are our 3 major products that I've talked about: the ASEA Redox, the Renew 28, and the Redox Gold. We do have a clay mask that has the ASEA Redox in it. That is bentonite clay mask, which is absolutely amazing. If you put it on, you will see instant results in just 10 minutes. And you might think of that for beauty and aesthetics, but you might have somebody who has a skin issue where that skin issue on their arm is just not going away, or that little black raised dot on the bottom of their foot just won't go away. And as you're trying to work on the gut health to keep that little raised black thing on the bottom of the foot from coming back, we can actually use the clay mask as well. So we have really interesting protocols for you. We do have a full face care line. We have a powder that we add to water to help redox systems for energy, one for mind and focus, one for mood. So if you've got too much energy or if you're feeling a little bit too sad, and we have a plant-based radiance. It's collagen support. Instead of starting as that yucky animal products and allowing the body to have to break it down and detox those parts out, we give you an amino acid that starts directly as human grade, so that the body only needs to go through 4 stages, which means we need to use less and we could get results a lot faster. We do have a biome. I could talk about that all day, but I won't. It's got 16 strains of probiotic. So, right, not just one big one, 3 strains of prebiotic to feed it, and a slippery elm in there. We have a source, which is a whole food micronutrient supplement. You're getting 2 cups of greens, broccoli seed, 2 cups of berries, great oils. We have a Life Max, which is active vitality. You've got things like French cantaloupe seed and lion's mane, really great proprietary mix of ingredients to help with energy, brain health, eye health. And then we have an omega that is quite different from any other omega out there. Our omega is not just omega-3, it's got a 5 and 7, really proven to help with cardiovascular as well. And I'm going to show you where you can learn a little bit more about that. We have a group called Canadians Fueled by ASEA. You might not be Canadian, but Aviva and I are, and some of the other people who may have invited you here are. So this is where we have testimonials and information for you to send your clients or patients, or send them to us so that we can tag them in some posts. And you can easily do a little bit of looking up yourself if you want to know, hey, what was that Life Max about again? You could look up Life Max in there if you wanted to know, what do I do if somebody's got, their muscle hurts, or they want to run faster, or they've got a thyroid issue. You could look up any of those keywords there. We also have a site called realredoxresults.com where there's almost 160 testimonials at this point that have been recorded specifically. There's thousands of testimonials, but these have been recorded specifically. And I'm number 158 if you wanted to check mine out, but it's also a great way to show your patients or clients other people that have been through the same issues as them. So please ask the person who invited you here for the password for that. Discoverredox.com is a great place to learn more about all of these products and about the company as well. Let's take a breath for a minute and let's say, why are health practitioners turning to ASEA? Well, you've heard what ASEA can do. You know that it's different from everybody else out there. The only other people that are creating active redox signaling molecules that can refill your cells, increase your body's ability to communicate, and do all these other things that I talked about today. ASEA redox is the only thing that can do that. So your clients, your patients are going to get better results and faster healing outcomes than you currently are. We were just at a conference, and somebody doing research with the redox was saying that he was able to get the heavy metals out of his patients within 2 years. Really great results within 2 years. I think anybody would sign up to that. But when he started to apply the ASEA redox on top of what he was doing, that went down to 6 months. Let's get your patients healthier faster. We offer clean, non-toxic, and truly holistic approach to health. We work with a family-based company that's built on integrity and has really strong values. ASEA itself is backed by solid financials. There's no debt. There's the capacity to double its output in very little time. The product shipped to 19 distribution centers in over 45 countries worldwide. So if you're just working in your area right now, think about the health practitioners that you could reach out to and share this with them so that they can use it in their businesses across the world. And that will help you build additional income, reliable stream of income in your business, whether you're sharing it with other health practitioners or just sharing it with your own clients and patients. And many practitioners, whether they're MDs or not, have sold their clinics, have sold their practices, and transitioned to ASEA full-time as their retirement plan, because that is recurring income that keeps giving and giving. We can provide you with dedicated ASEA liaison service. We'll answer your questions for you. A custom spreadsheet with all your ASEA links, client info, quick access to resources, login information, ready to use protocols, as I talked about earlier, for cancer, autoimmune disease, neurological issues, toxicity issues, injury issues, ready to use protocols for sports and not just recovery, but wanting to do better. Personalized ASEA shopping carts for your clients, so it's a one-click checkout. We can help you with your own orders as well. You can send us your clients and we can be your professional who gets them set up so that their orders can be shipped and delivered to their home. We do tailored presentations and we have tailored materials specific for your clientele. We could record something if it doesn't exist for you. And we are condition-specific videos to educate your clients without taking your time away from the really good work that you're doing already. We want this to be an add-in without it being a time suck. And that's what we've been very, very successful at doing so far. And we'll also remind you about your promotions and your savings. I just want to finish up very quickly by, before we open it up to questions, by talking a little bit about the people behind this company. In fact, Aviva, do you want to talk a little bit about the people behind this company? I know I love them, but you've known about them even longer than I have.
Honestly, you couldn't find any better leadership. They're family oriented. They're all about the ethos and the beautiful, like helping people. That's what they're about. And they've had the opportunity to be bought out by Big Pharma, which they've resisted because they said, we need to help humanity. And so at the end of the day, I feel that all of us are here right now because we all need to help humanity. We see where the world is going and all the things that are going on right now. And we need to take a pause and we need to say, okay, this is the future of healthcare. And they very much stand behind this. So for those of you interested, there is the ASEA the Genesis video, which actually explains everything that I kind of just said. In that video, but that's what it is in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so for me, it's been 8 years. For Aviva, it's been 10 years getting to know these people. And, two of the biggest blessings of learning about ASEA from Aviva was, first of all, getting my own health back and getting a business in the health field back. That was actually something that was doing amazing things and actually profitable for me and my family. But at the same time, getting to know these people who had an opportunity to sell out, but didn't because they wanted to make sure that everybody still had the access to ASEA. So please do watch that Genesis video. I'll just end with ASEA is your next level, empowering your patients, healing and performance for ultimate potential. And let them be the very best that they can be, and let them do that even faster than you can do on your own, creating a ripple effect. We find that people who bring ASEA into their businesses, into their clinics, get more referrals because people feel so good faster. They do tell all their friends in a much more committal way, and those people show up. So we can all just help the world be a better place together. Thank you.